Hey, welcome back. And as you can see from the title up there, this one is all about sickle cell anemia. But really what we're going to do is look at it through the lens of mutations and what can happen, what happens in a mutation. So we said that there were a series of different things that could take place. So let's review it. Number one, we could have a change in the DNA. And that's exactly what happens in sickle cell anemia. In fact, I'm just going to mention it's the sixth codon, which again, that's an RNA, but you get the idea. It's the sixth amino acid in the protein that's messed up. So let's see, we got a whole bunch of different letters going across here, and we have a G, and there's a lot more coming afterwards. And so the opposite strand would have G, C, T, C. Okay. So what happens in sickle cell, though, sickle cell has this changed to a T, which then changes this to an A. They flip-flop. Okay? So there's the change in the DNA. Doesn't seem like a big deal yet. Well, number two, what we could have is a change in the mRNA. Okay, well, as you can imagine, normally it would be a CTC, which is the DNA, which produces a GAG. Okay, so this is DNA right here, and here's the mRNA. But in sickle cell anemia, remember, this is changed to an A, so therefore this is changed to a U. Okay. Still, big deal. Not a big thing. So, but again, now we can have a change in the amino acid. Okay, so instead of having GAG, well, GAG produces the amino acid, which is glutamic acid. You can imagine it is acidic, and the acids are polar, which means it likes water. This amino acid is going to go to the outside. Okay, but GUG produces valine. Valine is very hydrophobic. It doesn't like water at all. And so what happens is this part wants to go to the inside. It's pulling the rest of the chain with it into the inside of the protein. Okay, so we're starting to see some changes here. I may have jumped a little bit too soon there when I was talking about this, but this is changes the folding of the protein. So what protein are we talking about? I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning. We're talking about hemoglobin. Okay. Well, what does hemoglobin do? Hemoglobin, usually made of two different chains. An alpha chain, there's another alpha chain over here, and along with it, see right there, will you? We'll have a beta chain, and they form this group of four. Well, what happens is it's a change in the alpha chain, and what happens is they don't like to come in groups of four anymore. In fact, what they do is they tend to only stay alpha with alpha and beta with beta, so you start to get and this is the whole protein. There it is, done. Well, what happens is with the change in this, it starts to form these extremely long rods. Starts to form these extremely long rods. So it forms a group of four of these, but then these group of four attached to another group of four and another group of four, and you end up getting this very long rod. instead of these small little groups of 4, which is what they're supposed to be. Okay. All right. So, well, what do we know? Let's go back to our list here. Number 5 is a change in function of the protein. So what happens is hemoglobin normally it carries oxygen on red blood cells. Okay? And it has a certain amount of oxygen it can carry and a certain percentage. Well, what happens is this causes a change, and this change reduces. So sickle cell has a reduced oxygen carrying capacity. Well, obviously you're going to be pretty fatigued all the time if you're not able to get oxygen around to your body. Your body needs those to do photosynthesis, but to do respiration, to do cellular respiration. You can still do respiration, but it'd be anaerobic. You're going to tire out really quickly. Fatigue, major symptom of someone who has sickle cell anemia. This can also change the cell structure. Well, you know what's nice about red blood cells is they're very flexible, and they have to be. There's like a lot of little turns and areas in which they have to twist around and get through these blood vessels. And they come in this, kind of biconcave disc, this little red disc. If I look top down, it's got a little indentation. If I look from the side, it looks like this. Okay, side view. Okay, and this is normal. I've been doing the red and the other one. So this is normal. Okay, this is normal. Okay, but sickle cell, and remember what's happening inside of a sickle cell. We're forming these rods instead of these small groups. So what happens is these rods are very long on the inside. Very, very long rods. And they also tend to stick to each other, so you form this sickle cell, or sometimes this kind of this shape. It's very inflexible. So you can imagine that they get stuck. Kind of like logs. I always picture like the loggers way back in the day pushing these logs down the rivers. They would get stuck in a log jam. Hey, that's one of the reasons we call it. They would get jammed up in these areas. Well, you could imagine these could cause a log jam kind of effect because they're not flexible. They're just not flexible. Okay, and so let's go back. And number 7, the last one, we could have a change in the organism. Well, what happens if you have sickle cell anemia? Especially under conditions of oxygen stress, where yes, we do have some oxygen carrying capacity, but when there's low levels of oxygen, things like high altitude, climbing a mountain, or just periods of stress, physical stress, exercise, a lot of health problems kind of come about. Pain, fatigue, and potentially even, if it's bad enough, death. Okay, so again, one single change, one little change in that amino acid sequence, and that beta chain is some 137 amino acids long. Not very long, but one little change out of 137 amino acids, and you have all of these cascading changes and effects that take place. So hopefully that elucidates some of the changes that can take place and the effects that can happen because of these changes caused by mutation. And I hope that helps.